Onia, Martin, Mwakaba.
Koyo, Major so.
Impumbo Gode.
Namiado, now so.
Eagle Crum, Yana. If you had that copy, the mirror, that's so. Yana, as a genema, copy bribe, no do a boy and sana. To see a quack of baby, Eddie, home out to Tunam. Did you say, we best you had a thorough look at their course will be during the NPP's presidential primaries. Right from Bra Eshas here and some beer a baby to and some Wayaka and Koma Yedi Efa candidate in the preoccupation of the leadership of the party said they were even in fear. Says so man ye na bato no ntimi ankoye and as ankose de nipa bi no mahwehwe no there will be defection. Amen unti of the memorandum of understanding ne ba mo bia esensan to the voting day, to the final declaration, to statement abonten as we speak now. I read somewhere said the National Democratic Congress, the Central Regional Secretariat said and Kebeya Ura Akompreko Japan wonya NPP Nomra NDC. Na as the party is not respecting his sacrifices for the party. Right. Ye ninkomo.
Mesan so chiao ene wetie for. Said the kan na edwuma ne de said the tie ano no nda de as a do baby as a sacrifice kakana. O ma waso da fam because said the kobia no obeka bi.
No correct.
Na amanfo so betiu. Nti me de twe kakra na first of all I would want to say I would want to congratulate the NPP for almost Saturday elections because largely it's been smooth, devoid of any basa yobia compared to what we saw during the super delegates. Onupuana was a smaller size.
Yeah.
I think that this is a massive improvement of the super delegates we So I think that I'll congratulate them largely, and also the elections committee led by the Professor Aaron Michael Quay. Why are there? Even though there's been some HS infractions near there, but largely no why are there. Again, to congratulate Dr. Bawumia. Largely, there's been a number of arguments, and then also it's been that for a first timer, he's been the most successful.
Yeah.
Why are I'm very, very surprised with his performance. I think the person of his caliber to have garnered such votes. But looking at the votes into details, I think for NPP having elected Dr. Bawumia as their running mate, I think there's more work for them to do.
As their flag bearer.
Sorry. as their as their flag bearer, and I think that they have lots of work to do. Not only them, even the opposition NDC has lots of work to do. So I think largely on my idea, we are expecting that going into 2024 because they say at the internal elections my elected flag bearer is good, but say flag bearer that my elected or no, say Ghana for better, say Ghana for enter, and no do hono agroni firm. Because already now, no pay me who say the opposition NDC is also almost fly some things out. Almost compare President Mahama. Some of the things he said, Dr. Bawumia, some of the things are what he's been able to achieve. It's who say the almost setting grounds already.
So some people have already started their campaign.
The campaign has started.
And sometimes I think that at these very early stages, probably may be a small campaign trying to downplay the importance of the candidates in the New Patriotic Party.
Exactly.
Say name into the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections.
Exactly. Presidential elections.
Because Ora Inis of Seni is even saying, yes. Well, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is a weakest link.
For me, I listened. I think I read on that, but I think yes, it's part of politics. It's propaganda. It's a propaganda speech. It's part of politics because I think that you can't downplay the influence of Bawumia. Over the period 2012, 2016, NDC votes in the northern region in particular, the NDC's votes has dwindled over the period, and you can't take away the Bawumia factor. So there's a lot of work to be done by the NDC or the entire northern regions. It is a often trust. I say, oh yes, of course, Ghana higher ten yatitin Bawumia lectures or yatitin. But is it enough? Is it enough ground to win an election over Bawumia? And America say, okay, votes are even internal elections we are calling now. Okay, northern regions now, they decided for Bawumia. Massively, they decided for Bawumia. If the central region, to massively Japan, to say their northern region supports your Modiana, and the result would have been something different. So they supported him fully. Let's take into cognizance the fact, say, internal elections. How are they able to translate it into the general elections, being able to amass the general public to rally behind Bawumia as their own? Yet now kind of trust I say he's not there. I think that of course propaganda we need to psych the people and all, but there's more work to be done.
Because we hear the regional breakdown. Now here northern region. Northeast. We in fact northeast in Kwanke and Kwan and Fanye an example. Or fact northeast. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was able, percentage-wise, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was able to garner over 90% of the votes are a course so hono. Oko baby etise yemfa northeast. Northeast na media bano. Yanko northern region. Na ono kwano Ghana close to 80%. In Oti region, he garnered close to 73%. In Upper West, 78%. And Upper East, 68%. So if you are to look at regions, particularly in the upper part of Ghana, it looks as if the margins now were very huge. Telling of the popularity in those regions.
Ufa Oti, I was surprised with Oti region votes nearby because at the end of the day, yes, the upper part, but it fuses into the Volta region. The Volta North, looking at the votes Bawumia Gada or Hono, it was quite surprising. I was shocked with
because Uko Otia percentage-wise, you are 72.33%, and Ura. I compare Canada, Japan, 26.4% in the Uti region. And even in the Volta region, Hokrano or Ghana numbers, 45.27% of the total value cast.
Compared to northern regions, votes now ebano. With the northern regions, votes now Mutuma Bawumia with the gap net down on Japan term. It's a song. Wow. So I would say Honorable Minister Fonseca, that's his opinion. I respect it, but again, also it shouldn't get into their heads as an opposition party. They are looking into coming into power.
Are you sure it is not likely to get into their head because Utie and some of the members of the National Democratic Congress just after Dr. Bawumia declaration, it tells you well, this is a candidate that we have all been yearning for. I would say bit me di ni sunkunim ti mudi na ba we de yedamo ase.
I would be surprised say as any politician it will get into your head say NPP I elected Dr. Bawumia. NPP is a very strategic political party. They have a plan for everything. And I think yes, as I said, a propaganda too to put some sort of thought into the people. It's accepted in politics, but if you relent on your effort and think, the man, as people have argued, he's lost credibility over the period. He's done so much from economy to Mr. Digital, as people say that. That's why we rely on that. I think it's the name of the as an opposition party, NDC.
Is the National Democratic Congress getting complacent at these early stages? Do you feel that?
Oh, from
because
where?
right from the start they were calling for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and indeed Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is Unipa Omenyano.
I think said wait, for me, how I see it, say I think that Kennedy Japan is more of a grassroots person. Kennedy Japan appeals more to the average individual out there. He appeals more to the average individual out there. Now, Kennedy Japan has not in a way soiled himself in terms of running the economy. He's not been involved in the active running of the economy over the period. But there's a lot to be said about Dr. Bawumia compared to Kennedy Japan. So yes, of course, every political party, you want a weaker opponent where you can punch and then gather some points all over. But I think that could be the reason in here NDC sees Dr. Bawumia as the weaker option where they can easily sell former President Mahama over Dr. Bawumia.
But we cannot, right, we can also run away from the fact that the candidate of the National Democratic Congress has also been a president before of this republic. And also, so how are they going to run away from their shortfalls and focus on the shortfalls of the opposing political party?
And now, some comparative analysis of the economic performance, because they see it as yes, the former president has been there before. Bawumia has also been there. Dr. Bawumia has also been there as the vice president and then the head of economic management team, which you would also peg it to the president when it comes to performance of the economy.
Yeah.
So I don't pay comparative analysis. Total debt, I would say Bawumia has supervised over 600 billion debt stock to GDP. Mahama left 120 billion.
That's 600 billion. No, I think that analysis cannot hold, because if the NDC left 122 billion, whatever debt stock that we have as we speak now includes that of the 122 billion.
Yes, it is a 122 billion. Exactly. 600 billion. No there's a lot to.
The remainder is what the current government has actually completed.
122 billion. And also yes, successive government from Nkrumah time. Mahama Jato. What's I say?
Because as of the time, a year Mampanyi and another Danko, Mampanyi John Ajikumkufu Efri so the total public debt stock was somewhere around 9 billion.
Yes.
So from 9 billion to 122 billion, and now we are somewhere around a year 600 billion. Yeah.
That's in percentage wise, no crown. It's over 300% increase. And then the people also argue, say, with all these monies, you don't see what is being done with. Because at the end of the day, we all know that the former President Mahama embarked on infrastructure drive near the idea. NPP, they are also doing their bits, but there's still the argument that we are not really seeing what the monies are being used for. So that argument is also there. Okay, inflation rate. Currently, they say inflation is at 54.1%. Mahama left it at 15.4%. And don't forget, sir, these are the things that will be said against Dr. Mahama Bawumia, because these are the very things that he campaigned on and made everybody believe that he is the best man to put Ghana on top in terms of economic indicators and everything.
Again, fact checking, one more inflation rate figure is wrong. It's not 50, it's not even above 50. Okay. It's somewhere around 40.
Somewhere around 40.
40%. But also, we can say that is way higher.
That is way higher.
Because if you pick something at around 15%, and the Bank of Ghana at least to achieve plus or minus 8%. Now, based on policies and to me, I think that the government must also be blamed on how it has managed the economy, inflation. We all remember, say somewhere around in December last year, it was somewhere over 50%.
Over 50%.
Of course.
Yeah.
That one day we cannot run away from it.
Yeah. But again, too, as the government communicators would say, let's give them the benefits of the doubt. COVID-19 in Russia-Ukraine war, Abemu. So some of these things, you'd want to be flexible with it and then be fair to government. So I think that these are the things that will play out going into 2024. And yes, of course, Bawumia would be held accountable for some of these things. I think maybe at the 170 something questions not set or setting by late
yes.
You would also have to answer those questions. So I think by and large we are in for interesting 2024 ahead.